What if you could do something today, right now, that could reshape the future of your heart health in just 14 days? And what if that something wasn't complicated, didn't involve medication, and tasted really, really good? What's the secret behind a few everyday nuts that science says might unclog arteries, improve blood flow, and even reduce the risk of heart attacks, especially if you're over 55? And why are most people overlooking them entirely? Stay with me, because in this video, you're about to discover the surprising truth. And once you do, you'll never look at a handful of almonds or walnuts the same way again. Before we go on, make sure to subscribe right now, because what you're about to learn might just be the turning point in your health journey. Let's start with a little story. Not a story about someone else, but about you. Imagine waking up with a bit more energy. Your chest feels lighter. Your breathing's deeper. You walk up the stairs, and for once, you don't pause halfway to catch your breath. What changed? What shifted inside your body so subtly, yet so powerfully, that you started feeling younger, stronger, and calmer in just 2 weeks? Could it really be because of what you've been snacking on? Here's where things get fascinating. Most people don't think of nuts as heart medicine. They're just a quick snack, right? Something to nibble on between meals. But your heart doesn't see it that way. It sees nuts as biochemical game changers. Let's take a deeper look at why that matters, especially as we get older. After age 55, your cardiovascular system starts going through some predictable shifts. Arteries stiffen, inflammation creeps in, cholesterol patterns change, blood pressure becomes more erratic. It's like your body is slowly switching from a flexible, youthful highway system to an older, cracked, and narrow road filled with traffic jams. But what if some foods, not drugs, not supplements, could ease that traffic? Let's get clear on one thing. Heart disease isn't just about cholesterol. That's a piece of it, sure. But it's also about inflammation, oxidative stress, arterial stiffness, endothelial function, the health of the lining of your blood vessels. Think of this lining like the Teflon in your arteries. When it's smooth, blood flows freely. When it's rough or damaged, plaque starts to form. And that's the slippery slope toward heart attacks and strokes. Now here's where nuts come in, and why they're far more than just crunchy little snacks. Certain nuts are packed with compounds your heart absolutely loves. Monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, arginine, magnesium, antioxidants like vitamin E, and plant sterols. These are the ingredients your cardiovascular system is craving without even telling you. But here's the catch. Most people don't eat enough of the right kinds, or they eat them the wrong way. Salted, roasted in inflammatory oils, or processed into sugary nut bars that cancel out all the benefits. The truth is, when chosen and consumed wisely, some of these common nuts can start making measurable changes in your body within 14 days. Let's talk about walnuts. Scientists call them the king of heart-friendly nuts, and for good reason. They're rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a type of plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Your body can use this to reduce inflammation and support better cholesterol ratios. In one clinical trial, people who ate just a handful of walnuts a day showed improvements in endothelial function within 2 weeks. That's a fancy way of saying their arteries worked better. But there's something even more exciting. Walnuts don't just affect your blood vessels. They also support a healthier gut microbiome. And what does your gut have to do with your heart? Everything. Because when your gut flora are in balance, they produce compounds that reduce systemic inflammation, one of the key drivers of cardiovascular disease. So when you're crunching into a walnut, you're not just helping your arteries, you're calming down your whole body. Now I want you to think about almonds. Common, right? Found in every grocery store. But do you know what they really do to your heart? Just 1 ounce a day, about 23 almonds, has been shown to significantly lower LDL cholesterol levels. That's the bad cholesterol that clogs arteries. But almonds don't stop there. They also increase HDL, the good cholesterol that helps clean out your arteries like a tiny internal janitor. And here's a fun fact. Almonds are rich in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your blood vessels from oxidative damage. Imagine your arteries as metal pipes. Over time, they can rust, oxidative stress, but vitamin E acts like a protective coating, keeping everything running smoothly. Now, let me ask you something. When was the last time you thought about your magnesium levels? Most people don't. But if you're over 55, odds are you're not getting enough. And magnesium is critical for blood pressure control, muscle relaxation, and maintaining a steady heartbeat. Cashews and Brazil nuts, packed with it. Cashews offer a creamy, heart-loving source of magnesium and iron, while Brazil nuts are one of the best natural sources of selenium, an antioxidant that lowers inflammation and improves blood flow. You might be wondering, can something this simple, just eating a few nuts, really change your heart health? The answer, according to science, is yes, but only if you do it consistently. You see, these changes aren't dramatic fireworks. They're quiet, subtle shifts. Your blood pressure softens. Your cholesterol ratios nudge in the right direction. Your arteries breathe a little easier. It's not magic, it's momentum. But here's the big mistake people make. They think all nuts are created equal. They're not. And more importantly, not all forms are beneficial. The salted cocktail mix you pick up at the gas station, that's not going to help your heart. In fact, it might do the opposite. The trick is to eat them raw or dry roasted, unsalted, and in moderation. Because yes, even good fats can be overdone. Now let me tell you about a lesser-known nut, the hazelnut. Often overlooked but nutritionally impressive. Hazelnuts are high in monounsaturated fats, great for heart health, and they also contain folate, which helps reduce homocysteine levels. High homocysteine is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease, so lowering it matters. And hazelnuts? They're up for the job. Here's another question for you. Do you snack because you're hungry or because you're bored? Because here's the deal. Many of us over 55 start to eat more emotionally. Stress, loneliness, or simply habit drive us to reach for something crunchy. But when you make that something crunchy, a few nutrient-rich nuts instead of chips or cookies, everything shifts. You're feeding your heart, not just your hunger. One of the most interesting things researchers have discovered is that nuts might actually improve how your body responds to insulin. That's right, eating certain nuts can help stabilize blood sugar. That's huge if you're dealing with metabolic syndrome or prediabetes, which becomes increasingly common with age. When your blood sugar is stable, your insulin levels stay steady, and that, in turn, reduces the inflammatory response in your blood vessels. It's all connected. And speaking of connection, let's talk about your brain for a moment. Did you know that heart health and brain health are deeply linked? A healthy cardiovascular system means better blood flow to the brain, improved cognition, and even a lower risk of dementia. So when you reach for that handful of pistachios or pecans, you're not just helping your heart, you're also protecting your memory, your focus, and your mental sharpness. But don't just take my word for it. Let's look at a quick study. One group of older adults ate about an ounce of mixed nuts daily for 12 weeks. Compared to the control group, they saw significant improvements in their lipid profiles. Their arterial stiffness was reduced, and markers of inflammation dropped. That's 3 major wins: cholesterol, flexibility of the arteries, and inflammation, all from something you could add to your breakfast or afternoon snack. Think about that. One simple change. No side effects, no prescription needed, and the benefits begin within 2 weeks. If you're over 50 and your joints ache when you get out of bed, go upstairs or just try to enjoy a walk. It's not your age, and it's not your fault. The real issue? Your body's running out of a natural substance that cushions your joints like a shock absorber. And most supplements out there, glucosamine, collagen, all of it, don't fix this. But now, researchers have discovered a breakthrough that can actually restore what your joints are missing, and people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are seeing real relief. If you're feeling stiff, sore, or weaker lately, stop guessing. Check the link in the pinned comment now. Let's keep going. By now, you might already be wondering which of these nuts you should start with. Or maybe you're thinking, do I really need to eat them every day? And the honest answer is, it depends on your goals. If you're just looking for a healthier snack, a few servings a week might do the trick. But if you're aiming for real change, better cholesterol, steadier blood sugar, lower inflammation, then consistency matters. Daily is where the magic happens. Let's talk about pistachios. These little green gems are more than just fun to eat. They're powerful. Rich in plant sterols, potassium, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, pistachios go to work on multiple fronts. They help lower LDL, increase HDL, and even reduce triglycerides, a major risk factor for heart disease. But here's something that might surprise you. Pistachios have also been shown to support healthy blood vessel dilation, which means better circulation and lower blood pressure. Think of your arteries like flexible hoses. When they're functioning, well, they expand and contract easily with each heartbeat, but over time and with poor diet, they stiffen. That's when blood pressure rises, and that's when risk skyrockets. Pistachios, through their nutrient profile, can help restore some of that flexibility. It's like turning back the clock, one handful at a time. But there's another nut that's often misunderstood: pecans. People assume they're indulgent because they're buttery and rich, but pecans are actually loaded with antioxidants, especially polyphenols, which help combat oxidative stress in the blood vessels. And here's something powerful. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition showed that eating pecans daily improved the body's ability to clear LDL cholesterol from the bloodstream, not because pecans melt fat or do anything extreme, but because they gently support your body's natural processes. Now, I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine walking into your kitchen and reaching for a handful of pecans instead of a pastry, or swapping your nightly chips with a small bowl of pistachios. These little swaps, done daily, compound over time. They build into momentum, into habits, and eventually into transformation. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you made a change that felt good and did good? That's the beauty of this. You're not forcing yourself to eat something bland or boring. You're not choking down pills or scheduling surgeries. You're simply choosing smarter, tastier, and proven options that your body already knows how to use. And speaking of choices, Brazil nuts. These are the secret weapon most people completely ignore. Why? Because they're not as common. But just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day can meet your entire daily selenium needs. Selenium is a trace mineral your heart loves. It plays a critical role in reducing inflammation and improving endothelial function, the health of that vital inner lining of your arteries. But it also supports thyroid function, boosts immunity, and may even help reduce oxidative damage linked to heart failure. All from a single nut a day. But there's a twist. Because selenium is powerful, it's also something you don't want to overdo. Just a few Brazil nuts is enough. More isn't better here. In fact, too much can be counterproductive. So while you can snack freely on almonds or walnuts with Brazil nuts, think of them as a daily microdose of heart protection. Just 2 or 3, and you're set. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Not only do these nuts help reduce what's wrong, like inflammation and bad cholesterol, but they actively support what's right. They provide your body with energy-sustaining fats, slow-release, protein, and fiber. And fiber? That's a silent warrior. It slows down digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, helps lower cholesterol, and even supports the microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your gut that influence everything from mood to metabolism. So let's circle back. You're over 55. Maybe you've already started to feel some of the shifts. Slower recovery, less energy, more stiffness, creeping blood pressure. It's easy to chalk it up to aging, but what if it isn't just age? What if it's inflammation? What if it's blood vessels losing elasticity? What if it's tiny nutritional gaps you can actually fill with food? Because here's the truth. Most people over 55 are low in magnesium. And what does magnesium do? It calms blood vessels, reduces tension, improves sleep, supports normal heart rhythm. Now consider that cashews, almonds, and hazelnuts are all excellent sources of magnesium. Every time you eat them, you're giving your body something it's been quietly asking for. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room: calories. People worry that nuts are fattening, but study after study shows that nuts, when eaten in moderation, don't cause weight gain. In fact, they may help reduce belly fat and improve metabolic function. Why? Because they're satisfying. They keep you full. They reduce sugar cravings. They stabilize energy, and when you're not constantly snacking on chips or cookies, your overall calorie intake often drops naturally. Think about how empowering that is. You're not dieting, you're not restricting, you're nourishing. Now, if you're still with me, if you've made it this far, it means one thing: you're ready. You're ready to take back some control, to stop waiting for a doctor to prescribe change and to start living the change, one bite at a time. So what's the takeaway? Start small, start smart. 1 ounce of mixed nuts a day, raw or dry roasted. No salt, no sugar, no fancy coatings, just whole, nutrient-dense foods the way nature intended. You don't need to overhaul your life, just upgrade your snack. And what happens in 14 days? You may feel a little more energy. Maybe your blood pressure ticks down. Maybe your next cholesterol test looks better. Maybe you sleep a bit deeper. Maybe you walk a little farther without feeling winded. These are small wins, but they stack and they matter. They mean your body is responding, healing, strengthening. Now it's your move. Go to your kitchen, check your pantry, toss the junk, pick up the almonds, the walnuts, the pistachios, the pecans. Add them to your routine. Make it simple, make it consistent, and then in 2 weeks, ask yourself, how do I feel? Better, stronger, more alive? Because that's what this is all about. If you found this helpful, wait until you see what we're sharing next. Tap the screen and keep watching, because your next step toward a healthier heart is just one click away.